guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader and welcome to another weekly reads video. Over the last couple of weeks I finished 3 books, so let's jump into what I read this week. The first book that I want to talk to you about today is Once by Morris Gleitzman. I listened to this on audiobook and when I spoke to you last I only had about an hour left on it. And obviously I finished it up quite quickly over the last couple of weeks. Really enjoyed this one. All of my thoughts that I talked to you about before still stand. So I really liked Morris Gleitzman's narration on the audiobook. I really thought that added a lot to it. But I also liked the way that he wrote his child character with such innocence. For those of you that don't know, this is a story about a little boy who lives in Poland. And at the beginning of the story he lives in an orphanage, and he talks about the fact that his parents have left him behind to go and kind of track down some lost books. They own a bookshop. And it's set during World War II, during the Nazi occupation of Poland and various other places. And our main character is Felix, I think his name's Felix. He's Jewish, but he doesn't really realise what's going on with Jewish people at this particular time. So like I said, Gleitzman was really kind of good at getting across this child's innocence and their voice during the book. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. There are, I believe, 6 books in this series. I can't remember, sorry, which one is next. My library has the next 3 audiobooks. The last 2 they don't have. I might be able to get a physical copy of those later. But I really enjoyed it and I do want to continue on, and I think I gave that one 4.5 stars. The next book that I finished is Holiday in the Hamptons by Sarah Morgan. This is a book that I'd had out from the library, so I've since taken it back, and it's the 5th book in the From Manhattan with Love series. And yeah, I continue to absolutely love these books. So this one follows, I was just trying to remember the names of the main characters, Felicity I think it is, and she is trying to kind of like hide from her ex-husband who she spotted in New York, so she kind of escapes to the Hamptons to look after her grandmother for a while, but doesn't realise that's actually where he lives. So she bumps into him again there, and it's a second chance romance, and yeah, it hasn't been my favourite in the series. It was quite slow to get going, and I know some people kind of like that idea of a slow burn kind of thing. But this one wasn't so much about the romance, it was more about Felicity trying to kind of get to grips with her past and kind of rediscover who she was and things like that. And for me it didn't really hit the spot as much as the other ones in the series. So this one I gave 3.5 stars. And then the last book that I finished this week was a book called Looking for Trouble by Victoria Dahl. I read this on my Kindle. This is the first book in the Jackson Girls Night Out series. I heard about this series from Sarah over at Steeped in Books. I believe she read book number 2 and she said it was really good. So I found the books for cheap on Kindle and I downloaded the whole series. So obviously started with this one. This follows Alex and Sophie. Alex has just come back to town again because there is a memorial service for his father happening, who died about 20 years ago, and his mother wants him to come back to town and things like that, and his brother is hoping that he'll kind of help out with getting his mother back on track and things like that, because she hasn't been that well lately. And Sophie has lived in the town since she was a child, and actually her mother was having an affair with Alex's father, and the 2 of them disappeared together. So there's been this massive scandal in the town for years about, you know, his dad and her mother, The two of them meet when he comes back into town. I think he was a few years older than her, so they never really sort of talked much as children, as teenagers or whatever. But they kind of meet when Alex comes back to town, and a relationship forms between the two of them. This is really, really hot and spicy, so if you're not a big fan of really explicit sex scenes, then this might not be for you. And actually reading it, I wasn't enjoying it so much for the first sort of 50% because it was more about the sex than kind of anything else. But then the second half of the book, we started to learn a little bit more about the characters and about their situations and the problems that they were having and things like that, and actually got a lot better. So I did enjoy the book overall. One particular problem that I had with it was that the sex in the book tended to be like punishment sex, where, you know, she really enjoyed him punishing her, and I don't know, like, that just really doesn't appeal to me and makes me think I don't know, I don't find that particular kind of sex particularly healthy. Yeah, it's just my personal opinion, but I didn't like that either. But it was enjoyable in the end, and I think I gave that one 3.5 stars. On to the books that I'm currently reading. I've got a few other things going on in the background, but the ones I'm kind of actively working on at the moment is Moonlight Over Manhattan. This is the last book in the From Manhattan with Love series, and this one follows Harriet, who is Felicity's twin sister. And Harriet has always been like the really shy twin, and doesn't really like socialising and things like that. And because her sister Felicity is now living in the Hamptons, she's living in New York on her own, so she kind of makes the decision to kind of put herself out there a little bit more and try and find a relationship, basically, and that's what she's doing at the beginning of this book. I've only read the first 18 pages of it, so not particularly far into it at all, but I only picked it up, I think, on Thursday night. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more of that. A little bit sad that this is the last book in the series, but there are plenty more Sarah Morgan books for me to read and for you guys to hear me obsessing about over the next few months. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun, but yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. And then the audiobook that I'm currently listening to is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. This is a series of essays that she has written about being a feminist, but also about being a woman of colour. She talks about her sexuality. She talks about lots of different aspects of modern life, and both her own place in the modern world, but also the way that the modern world works when it comes to women and sexuality and race and all of those kinds of things. And I'm finding it so interesting so far. Each essay is about 15, 20, 25 minutes on audio, so they're quite short chapters, and you know, it's been really interesting listening to all of the things that she's got to say. I was expecting when I picked it up for it to be a bit just exclusively about, you know, being a feminist and, you know, the issues to do with women and the way that they're treated today, but it's not just about that, it's about a lot of other things as well, and that was a nice pleasant surprise. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I've listened to about 75% of this so far, so I might finish it off during the course of this upcoming week. We'll kind of see how it goes, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the narration on it as well. So definitely one that I would recommend. So there you go, guys. They were all of the books that I wanted to talk to you about today. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below about any of the books that I've discussed. What are you reading and really enjoying at the moment? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.